Hey everyone, I just want to talk to you guys about how I went through the journey from $12 an hour to $25 an hour in New York City as a local 3 apprentice. As you may say, you know, most people can't even live off of $15 an hour, which is minimum wage now. Just imagine how I felt when I got paid $12 an hour when I joined the local in 2017. And that's not too long ago. That was only 4 years ago. I graduated with 2 majors, accounting and economics, and a minor in business presentation. And I still couldn't really find a job because by the time I graduated, the subprime mortgage just happened, and I think it was just a little too stuffy, the office setting. So I had other positions, full-time positions. They all started me off at $20 an hour. So for me to go to $12 an hour, it was degrading. But I sucked it up, you know. They said they had 401 plus pension, which is unheard of because their 401 is exceptional, and I'll explain to you why in a few. So started at $12 an hour, and the difference between that and 20 years is insane. I have coworkers that are journeymen that I work with, and they told me that they joined the local 20 years ago, and it was $11 an hour or something in that range. And I was extremely flabbergasted because I'm like, so they didn't count for inflation or anything, you know, as long as they met the minimum standard of giving you more than minimum wage. I believe 2017 minimum wage was around $10.75 or $11.25, something like that, in 2017. So I took a shot, you know, because I've heard many good things, not knowing what I'm getting myself into. I had, you know, with electrical, I have never had experience. With everything else, I've just learned basically off of YouTube, you know, like just self-taught. Like, you know, I never had friends in this trade or anything, so it was a big eye opener for me, and I made a lot of good friends or met a lot of good people along the way, and I'm very happy that I took this route. But like I said, that $12 an hour equate to about $350 a week after taxes, and I'm telling you, I was struggling. You know, I helped my family pay their mortgage, and I knew off the bat that $12 an hour is not going to cut it for me. I'm not going to make enough money to make ends meet, and I live in the city. I mean, in the 5 boroughs. So I was really mad that I couldn't afford to live by myself if I wanted to with the wage that I was getting. And another thing that got me really mad, because I didn't know a lot about unions or any trades or what types of trades I could try to attempt to get into. I don't have a father figure at home. I don't have a lot of things that, you know, a regular family would have. So I took the prior experiences I had from high school to kind of join the local, because I was in some kind of construction skill 2000 back in high school, right after high school, and it was like either you could join that or you could go to college. I took a chance with construction skill, gained some knowledge, learned about Local 3, and then reapplied after I finished college, which is basically applying twice. you know, and I got in, you know. And I plan to make another video to talk about the interview process. I think that will help everybody out. So where was I? $12 an hour, and I can't afford to live alone or even basically almost survive. And the workload that you had, insane to make $12 an hour. And I'm telling you, insane. You had to go to theory once a week. You have to go to college once a week. Luckily, I graduated with college. If you have at least an associate's degree, you only have to take a 20 credit program, and then you can finish your college. I mean your college necessity for Local 3, which is at least that 20 credit program. So I accelerated that by taking summer class and finishing up college within, I believe, second. So that was 2 years into my Local 3 journey, and then I was able to finish that. So I freed up my time. But in order for me to survive and help my family pay their mortgage, you know, when times are rough or when times are good, I had another job. I had to have another job. And luckily it was basically my own business, because I was already doing it for a long time. So, you know, it's like written on the back of my hand. I already knew every step. So sometimes, you know, it was hard to kind of concentrate at work, but I made it work. I learned, and I also was able to have that other job, you know, the other entrepreneur skills at the end of the day. And because it helped me survive to $25 an hour, and that's modest. You know, that's a modest wage right now, but it allowed me to survive to that amount. And because of that, I'm never going to stop doing what I do on the side, because to me the standard was too low for a union. You know, other trades minimum was starting at $20. A laborer was getting paid more than an electrician apprentice who has to take the risk of working with potentially live wire, you know. And I'm just so mad. And laborers, I mean, don't get me wrong, laborers have a very hard job. They pick up every single trash every single day. They work extensive hours, but most of them that do this, they love it because the pay, it just adds up. Their top pay is not as much as the Local 3, but they make it work, because there's you know, there's a lot of ways to make this money for them. You know, when they pick up the trash, there's ways of collecting copper. There's ways to collect certain metals that are thrown out, that they collect, that are worth a lot, so they can collect off of that too, plus their pay, you know. So there's pros and cons of that. So I started off at $12 an hour. I was super disappointed when I got my first check. I put 10% into my 401k because I knew that I had to save some money, because I know there's going to be a rainy day. And there's going to be a really bad rainy day. It was so bad, I almost lost my house, my family's house, because the pay was too low. And you know, I never was able to say anything to anybody, like none of my coworkers, nobody, because I was happy to be doing the job sometimes with the guys. They're pretty nice guys. They're very funny. You know, when you get used to it, you kind of like, wow, this is not even. It's like going into a playground with big old guys, you know, and that's how it is. It's actually enjoyable after you get along, you know, after you get the crudeness out, You know, it's a different element. Office setting is like, you know, everybody's all polite, asking you the political correct things. When you're in the construction business, they say the most blunt things in the world, you know, just crazy retarded things, but you get used to it, and you now know that, you know, you're part of these guys. So I didn't know if I should be a proud member of a union, or should I look for another job, because I just couldn't afford my home, which is crazy. You know, I already had the home for my family, to help my family, and I was able to pay with my previous job, because it was at least at $20 an hour, you know, and then there was overtime. But because it was $12 an hour, I struggled bad for at least 2-3 years. I struggled really bad. I had to pull out some money from 401k in order to help keep the home, you know. And I'm telling you, when people say that they had a hard time, I'm telling you my hard time. That was maybe one of the worst times of my life, you know. I almost lost everything, you know. And my mom don't speak English, so it was not much people to help me out. What I would recommend to you, no matter how hard your life is, put some money into your 401. You have to start from the very beginning. It's up to you if you don't want to take out any money for your vacation and the holidays, because after that basically allows you to gather compound ever since the first day you step into the local and you put money into the 401k. Every single week that you put more money in, it adds up and it gives you more interest. And fortunately, with the background I had with accounting economics, I started to study the stocks a little bit. My 401k plan, I moved some numbers around, and I'm able to gain a higher interest rate now than I was when I started. When I started, I was very stable, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't have anybody that wanted to talk to me about what I should move my money into. And you know, when you call Prudential, which is your 401k holder, they don't give you any financial advice. And then if you don't know much, it's hard to learn. But guess what? With my background and YouTube, again, I actually started to go off and just started learning every single day. Every single time I'm free when I'm driving, I went and learned something about dividend stocks, something about growth, something about compound interest. All that added into my mind, and now I finally learned how to move my money, you know, so I could gain a little bit more money. I went from having a steady growth of 7% a year, a year for like 4 years. And I just changed it recently, and it's already almost up to 9%. And you have to calculate that most of the time, inflation increases about 3% a year. So realistically, the gain on a 7% is only 4%, because that other 3% is what you consider the inflation rate. You know, so I'm finally learning all this stuff on my own, and I'm super happy that I can see the progress and how much money it's really gathering in there. If I did not have to help my family, I would have 5 figures in there already, you know, and that's in 4 years, plus your regular pay. So it did definitely started adding up. After your first year, $12 was when your first base pay. Then every time you pass a class for theory only, you increase your base pay by $1. So it's almost every 6 months you get your base pay increased. So for example, if you handed in all your performance sheets, which you have to do every 6 months, or actually every month, and then hand it in, but you have to have it within that 6 months to get the raise, you'll get a dollar raise. So I believe I started 2017. Actually, I remember exact date, February 13, 2017. So 6 months from there, I got a raise. I got to $13. Then I got my biggest raise when they increased minimum wage. So I got a $15 minimum wage plus the inflation cost, which was only like 25 cents. But all that adds up. I put a 10% into my 401, and the employer always contributes. But their money, hear me out, this is stuff that they don't tell you, which you need to know, because I asked. Employer contributes to the local 3 fund, okay? Whatever money that you put in, you can move it around wherever you want. And that's how you make your most money. When I was in an office setting, I was in a dead-end job. I mean, like, I think the base pay was $40,000, and that's it for 20, 30 years. I think your 401k, if you get to there after with retirement, was $500. I think I calculated that it was like roughly $500, and then you have to rely on Social Security. I mean, that's nothing, Out here with what you're doing here, like, this is sweat and blood, the type of work you do. But when you retire, you retire good. Like, I just spoke to my coworker, and he told me, when I'm done, and he already put in 20 plus years, and he doesn't touch his 401 at all, so it accumulated. He has more than $1 million in there, and that's what he told me. When he retires, he's gonna go and buy any car he wants, at least $100,000. That's what he said. Sports car. He just wants it because he's ready. That's what he said. And I'm like, yo, I'm great. I'm happy for him. He said, my house is paid off. My kids, both my kids went to college. They're done. And this is all because of Local 3. And I'm that's what I'm aiming for too. That long-term success. The short-term, I'm telling you, it was bad. It was bad. Like, man, I lost so much, and it's hard to tell somebody, oh, like, what you're worth when you're getting paid so little. I don't know if I told you, but I had an ex-girlfriend that was a nurse, and she just laughed at me because my salary, what I got a week, she got in a day, and that was hurtful, but she knew that I was kind-hearted, and I wasn't ready to give up, and I never had any medical experience when it comes to school, and it would never interested me. I wanted to get into a trade because I knew that after I gained some skills, I could do a lot of work, outside of the local, which will keep me stable and always make me money. Even if I'm not laid off and I don't have work for like a few months or whatever, I'm going to be good because I know what I'm capable of. And with the experience that I got the last 4 years, man, I could look at something and I know what to do. I mean, I have the idea already, and I could put it together. I just built a shed recently, with no prior experience. That's how crazy it is. And, I watch more YouTube videos. All that is great to know because now you put those two together, your experience plus the videos, and it's going to be perfect, So steadily every 6 months you get a raise. 1525, then 1625, then 1725. I believe when I was fourth first, I was getting paid $22.75 because there was another inflation raise, and the contract increases too. So that contract, when the contract increases, they added in that the apprentice contract has to increase by, I believe, 50 cents or 75 cents. I'm not 100% sure the numbers. And then I finally got to $25 an hour. It's actually like $24.75, but it's right there. You know, $25 an hour as fourth second. And I'm happy because now with my other job, you know, and 25, I'm actually living comfortably. So imagine when I turn out to become journeyman, I'm already budgeted at $25 an hour. So all the rest of it, I'm going to try to learn how to invest that money to make more money. To basically live longer, more prosperous, and to enjoy life. And that's what I'm aiming for. You got to put in that time, you know. And like I said, if you start young, young meaning in your experience, first, put in that money. 10% is not a lot. Of course, it's gonna, you know, it sucks when your first year. But now, you start off first year $17.25, I believe, which is crazy. That's $5, almost $6 increase from when I started, and that's the demand that they want from of people joining Local 3 now. Previously, it was father and son, you know, and that was an error, I believe, because you expect everybody to be able to live on a father and son budget where the son is able to live in their father's house. Not everybody grows up like that. You know, some people have kids. You know, I remember I was in college, the college for school, for the local, and the dude is sleeping in the class, and he said to the teacher, "I'm sorry, I got to work another job after I finished my regular daytime job with Local 3. He's a bartender, because it's just not enough money, you know, and he's too tired to keep going. He had to sleep in class, you know, and I'm telling you, it wasn't just me that struggled. Everybody struggled, and that's how you could feel that we're all hopefully going the right path. Because you know what, he said, you know, he's seen his father was able to help pay all the bills for him, his other brothers and sisters, you know, and that's what inspired him to come into the Local 2, you know. And I'm just telling you, like, there's a lot of basically rag to medium class stories, and it's grateful. I'm grateful to be able to share this with you guys, and I'm hoping that it helps you decide what you want to do. Let's get back to that 401. So 10% is not that much. You can put some into your Roth IRA and some into your 401. They kind of mingle together when it comes to saving. The max amount that you could put a year is $20,000. The employer can still contribute every week because that's part of the negotiation with the contract. And the money that they put in, I mean, now it's insane. I believe I calculated how much I made with the 401, and the numbers are good, you know. But my first year W-2, I think I was almost at poverty line. That's how bad it was. I was like, wow, this is crazy, you know. I worked so hard to be poor, you know. I was like, wow, this, you know. So, but on average, what I calculated, you were getting about 45 to 46,000 if you saved right and if you make your money work. And I'm telling you, hopefully you learn or get a financial advisor how to move your money so that it can make you a little bit more money. Like right now, like I said, at 9%, I'm happy for that growth. Of course, I could move it a little bit more to a more riskier mutual funds and index funds and ETFs, but I don't want to do that with this type of 401, because eventually, you know, for vacation, I still take out money for vacation and holiday, so I want to be able to grow it enough so that I can pull out a little bit. And I understand there's a lot of fees when you pull out early, but I still want to have that extra money to survive throughout the year, and that's how I look at it. Yeah, so I want to have a stable, increased yield. I don't want to have 7%. That's too low. That 9, 10, that's pretty good. If I get 15, that's amazing. And I know I could definitely do that, but I'm rather take it slow right now. Maybe later on when there's more money in it, I might shift it around. If I see some kind of specific mutual funds or ETFs or index funds that are not really moving that much, maybe I'll switch that around. You know, it's just a simple call, literally. I think I was on the call with them for like less than 10-20 minutes, and they just helped me move everything around. I already knew in my mind what I wanted to move. You just have to look it up and make sure you know the numbers, you know. I hope that you guys pass your college classes and your theory, and remember, do anything you can to pass, because you know that that's what's holding you back from getting your raise. It's so super hard, you know, super hard to go work, then gotta wait till 5 o'clock to go to theory. And this was when we actually had to go to theory, like we had to go into the school, you know. And because of COVID, we're doing everything online, but before we had to show up. You know, you could come in like shirt and short pants, but most people came with their work clothes, dirty, you know. And I'm like, damn, this sucks, because they're all filled with sweat and all that all day long, and they can't go home and shower, anything, you know. And college starts at like 3:30 or 4 o'clock, and you had to do that another day. It's tough the first 2-3 years, but when you get after that and you see the money coming in, you know, and the things that you can afford, I hope you stay for that time. And thanks for watching, you know.